So it was about 45 seconds after I finished the last broadcast. I had this one ready to go, and it's taken this long for YouTube to acknowledge that I hit the streaming button and was ready to go. And it sits and spins and spins and spins and spins. And finally it said, "You're ready to go." So here we are, 1970S. Had this roll for quite a while. Have no idea what's in it. No idea. It's nice and well sealed. So we are going to well unseal it with our little plastic tool here. And I can pry the edge of the roll out. Just like that. Go over here to the other side and do the same thing. And almost without harming. Of course, this paper is just bitter and brittle and difficult, but almost without hurting anything, we've been able to take the paper off the coins. The coins will come out, and we can hope for a 1970S DDO number 1. Be like a $10, $15, $20,000 boon to whomever would get it. All right, Mr. McCumber, first person to get a chance at this end of the roll was obverse in. And here is what that coin looks like. I'm not seeing anything on the date mint area. Nothing really on Liberty. This one's turned a little bit on the brown side. It's got speckles all over it. And no hub doubling. We're going to check the reverse on the first 10 coins, but don't plan on seeing anything. 1970S is not well known for any doubling on the reverse on the on the working hub coins. The proof, there's one known that I know of, or two that are known that are okay. They're not major, but they're there. Just two different ones on the proof that I know of. Just trying to get my eyeballs trained into this design. Your eyeballs have to adjust every time you change years on the coins, especially ones from different hubbings. This one is a normal coin. That's coin number 1, in and out, Dan McCumber. Coin number 2 now. Number 2 will go to Crispy. Coin number 2 still shows some speckling. A little bit of odd color. Which that could be a matter of storage of the roll. Could have been stored in some light moisture. You can see the brown showing up on here. And the reverse shows the same issue. Got no doubling here on the reverse. Welcome back, Eric. Coin 3 now, Sir Egg. Well, let's see. We happen to get something good here. And let's see. I am watching for small dates as well. I'll let you know. Definitely large date when the top of the 7 sinks below the top of the 0 and the 9. So you draw a line straight across. I'll try to do it here with the edge of your picture. There you go. Going straight across the top of the 9 and the 0. The 7 sits below the others. No, Carl, I didn't. We're going to have to work something out on that. I am not going to be able to find it. I have no idea what happened. Here 1 minute, gone the next. And so we will have to work out something. I can either refund you, or I can see if I have an example that equivalates so that I can send it in for you. I at one time got the idea that I could start sending coins in for people, but I am not organized for that. And stuff just simply gets lost. So I pretty much have to do what I have lined up to do, because it's all I can handle. Okay, so far no double dies, no small dates. I know the coin's still here. I didn't do anything with it. I just don't know where it ended up. It did not go anywhere. I just have so much stuff here, and I'm very overwhelmed with the piles I already have. I've gotten to a point where I can't really deal with anybody else's coins, and when I sell coins, I want to get them moved out of here as fast as I can so they don't have a chance to disappear, because that ultimately is what happens to them if they try to stick around. That's why my monthly shipping program did not work. It was too hard for me to keep track of. So I ship as soon as I can, which leads me to an issue that we have some people still who are not paying their invoices when they're received directly after the show, and need to get into the habit of paying the invoice within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, because that's my easiest way of being able to keep track and keep up with everything, so things don't get lost and everything stays kind of clean. I have some packed boxes here that were packed for people as much as a month ago that have not been paid for. After a month, I'm just going to absorb the items and put them back in inventory and cancel the invoices. I just can't sit here on top of stuff that sits and sits and sits without someone paying for it. Some of the people that you recognize that you don't see anymore are victims of exactly that. I'll do that, Carl. I got to go back and watch the show to figure out what you got in the first place, because I honestly don't remember what it was now. I don't remember if it's a DDO or a DDR. I don't exactly remember the date at this point. That's weird. Almost looks like an upside down VDB right there on the collar. But I know that's just little hits on the coin. These coins are not in great shape, but they are original. So we are merely hoping to find goodies. There's one for Parviz here. I mean, I apologize that the coins don't turn out in the best shape, but they don't always. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. The outsides of the roll look just fine. 63 proof triple DDR. Okay, I'm sure I've got at least one of those around here. If I can go back and watch the show, I'll do that tomorrow morning when I get up and I'm doing my coffee. I'll get up and go back in your invoices and find which invoice, which show it belonged to, watch the show, get some markers off of it, and I'll check mine, see if I can find one that works around the same grade, same die. I'll get it sent to you. Number 9 comes up for Crispy here. I get my hopes up for these things, and then turns out that they end up not being as good as I would like for them to be. They turn out to be normal. I don't like normal. I like when what we do is outside the norm. Different stuff. Hey, Angie. Good evening to you. There's coin number 10 now. This is for Mickey, but I got the name upside down. I have to flip it around right side up so it shows up like that. And here we go. I'll have to look at Mickey's coin. Machine doubling. It's flat. It is pounded down to the field. That is a sign of machine doubling every time. The other thing that will show you machine doubling every time is prior to the year 1990, all mint marks were added to the dies by hand, while the rest of the design, including the date, was placed during the hubbing process. That hubbing process is where your doubling occurs. So if you have doubling on the mint mark that is related to doubling on the date, as is in this case, you definitely have machine doubling. It's impossible to have the doubling on a die create doubling on a mint mark until you get to 1990. Another thing to remember for those who do a lot of coin searching, all the years 1968 to 1972 are very, very common for machine doubling. So if you see something you think might be hub doubling on a 1968 through 1972 Lincoln cent, 95% of what you see is going to be machine doubling. The chances of it being hub doubling are very small. If you're seeing doubling like that, it affects everything. Most of the doubled dies in 70 and 71 only affect like the 7 and the 0 in the date. They don't generally affect all of the lettering. There are a few that will affect the date and In God We Trust and Liberty. But 69S DDO number 1, 1970S DDO number 1, 1972 DDO number 1. Those are all very nice and extreme, very easily detectable as doubled dies. This again is machine doubling. Doubling on the top of the 7 and the 0, and also the same doubling on the top of the S. Okay, I appreciate that. Reveal number 12, 512. All right, Carl. Reveal 512, coin number 8. That will help me a ton. Thank you. I will get you some resolution to that by Wednesday afternoon. I may be busy with the auction most of the day tomorrow. Number 14 for Sissy. I do apologize. A lot of these coins are kind of, That's a pretty extreme case of machine doubling there. In fact, machine doubling at times can actually get in the way of you being able to see a true hub double die. At times. Not really common. Hey, Sissy. Good evening to you. Number 15 now for Crispy. See if Crispy got anything here. Your chances of finding the double dies in a 1970S roll sort of kind of small, but we can't find double dies if we don't look for them. RPMs are going to be rather scarce. 1970S. Not a lot of them out there. Number 16 now for Paul. 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. All pretty scarce for RPMs. I mean, there are a number of them listed for those years, but they don't show up very often. Well, my lighting is not favoring this search at all. Let's see what I can do about it. Oh, let's see. There we go. It's a little better. I have to figure out what I was seeing here, and I think I'm actually seeing a little ghost doubling caused by a very strong strike. You don't see it on this side of the coin, but you do see it on the other, the left side. Not exactly sure what your subject is, Doug, but if we're talking about machine doubling actually has no value. It's just a lot of people like to put it up on eBay for shock value, and then people who don't know what they're doing buy it. I would have people argue with me on that, but it's mainly the people who know it's worthless and sell it anyway. Oh, yeah. Can anybody help me? What was that? Was that a 50? I think it was 57D. Oh, the nice double dizer RPMs, yes. Well, I mean, it's not so much that the more common ones are worth less. But yeah, if it's like the 1972 double die obverse number 1, it's not uncommon. It is major. It's very nice, very easily visible. But those in top condition are only worth $500, $600, $700. Whereas with the 1969S double die and the 1970S double die, those in top condition are $25,000 to $150,000 coins. $25,000 to $150,000 coins. So, yeah, there's no shaking that down to anything other than rare, and they are rare. We're just scratching bottom on this roll. Got nothing for die varieties. The coins are actually not pretty. We're getting an education on these machine double coins, though. That always helps when you can learn something from what's going on. I'm pretty sure they were 1957D. They were little race cars, kind of cool looking. That's what I was seeing. Just little die. There were die chips, little die breaks inside the left wheat lines that look like a little race car, just by their shape. I'm pretty sure those were 57D. Another case of machine doubling here. See how it's a little higher up, but it's still scooped out. It looks like an ice cream scooper scooped this out. You got a little scoop up here. You got scooping going on up here and here. But the overall thickness from here to here of the 7 is normal. And that's another thing that gives it away is machine doubling. Machine doubling doesn't add any extra to the digits. There's a real strong case of it for you right there. And that's a very strong case that this is machine doubling. You can see how the center of the ARP repunched here by the die took away the center of the original R. That would not happen on a double die. On double die, there would be two centers, not one center taking away another one. It's the difference between when the die comes up and hits a coin again, or when the hub comes up and hits the die again. Hub hitting the die, double die. Die hitting the coin, machine doubling. Another case for you. Not a double die. Oh yeah, only wish we could run into 6 or 7 of those $20,000 double dies in this roll. Make some people very, very happy. Another case of machine doubling on the S mint mark there. You can have machine doubling just on a mint mark. It just depends on how exact it hit and exactly where it hit. See, there's machine doubling on the top of the N of in. It's just flattened down to the field. It's a unofficial word that I would call smushed. Here's one from Mark. Again, got nothing. What I'm specifically looking for is very different from what we're finding. You almost have to find it to know what you're looking for. Well, I kind of wish, Eric, that I had been able to find some pretties in this to give you some examples of what you could be looking for as well. But this particular roll is not showing up with goodies. Which, hey, I mean, that not only betters your odds, but if you do find anything, that means you have found value that I could not find today. So, much better luck to you. I read the stories once in a while in the coin world or wherever they show up that someone opened a roll of coins and found blah blah, and I'm so happy for them. Not jealous at all, because this is truly hit or miss. I mean, they're literally lottery tickets with even odds. You have a roll of 54 with some of them. That's pretty cool. They're just interesting little things, you know? Sometimes those interesting little things have character, and they have enough character to be interesting enough to pull them out, share them with others, collect them in a book. That's just what we do. I've had a lot of people come back to me describing what they found in their rolls that they purchased from me. And there's been a lot of stuff found in rolls I've sold that the only point of jealousy of any sort that I would have is that I was unable to discover that piece in the roll live on a show. Because this, folks, this is my, it's my love of bread and butter right here. I mean, you know, these shows are part of how my living is made, and obviously I don't charge you more if I find a good coin in the roll, so finding plain coins or finding good coins, all the same financially to me. But when you talk about the socioeconomic structure of a business, it's definitely a better thing socially to find a crap ton of great stuff in your rolls. Make people want to come back for more. I mean, rolls like this don't do me or you any good. but they are, by and large, far more common than rolls with good stuff in them. So we sit patient and wait for the day I open that roll. We know it's coming. We just don't know how long. I don't know if I'm going to live long enough to see it. Where I open up a roll of coins that belong to other people, and I can find some hoop-de-doo high dollar stuff. I mean, I have found $150 coins for people. But as for the major Red Book listed stuff, not had the opportunity. I just haven't really found much of it at all. But there's a lot of this stuff that's been discovered within the time that I've been doing coins. I know for sure that back in the 70s, the Red Book did not list a 1970S DDO. We didn't even know about that until, 20, 25 years ago. And even then it was kind of uncertain as to how common it was going to turn out to be. We thought, we'll wait and see. There could be thousands of them. So far, we found that to be untrue. Well, at least with this, this lottery is not rigged in any way. There's no, math done on how many could be made for the value and, how many would be made to make it this or that possible for you to find one of them. I mean, we could literally go through a sealed bag and find 500 coins worth $300 or $400 a piece. We could literally go through a roll and find 10 coins worth $1,000 a piece. It could happen. Very, very, very scarce to happen. But, this is my 623rd roll. Now, we found some good stuff in those 623 rolls. We found a lot of more common things that are not as valuable. We've never found anything of the super rare, super valuable, but hey, 624 rolls could do it. We just never know. And I don't pre-check the rolls. If I pre-checked the rolls, there would be something in every roll. If I pre-checked the rolls, there wouldn't be spots like this on any of the coins. If I pre-checked the rolls and was not honest, you'd never see a huge, nice dive variety come out of any of the rolls. And I'm always honestly hoping for the best out of every roll. This roll's been exposed to some moisture, though. It's just not what it should be. Machine doubling again. So this shows you how common machine doubling is in 1970S. You're going to find machine doubling on probably 1 out of every 25 coins or so, which is why they have no premium value. You stick one of them with a nice photo up on eBay, and it'll sell for $5, $10. I honestly wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I was selling coins of no value for that kind of money. In fact, even coins of value for way above their value, I have a hard time with. Which is why generally at my auctions, when you guys start getting ridiculous with your bids, I stop the bidding. And I sell them at a decent price. I don't like the overbid. I could probably make $20,000 more a year if I allowed the overbidding to happen, but it wouldn't be an honest 20 grand. And I don't like that. I keep it honest. There's other people on YouTube who don't. Oh, there's Mark upside down. Flip him around here. Sometimes I get these names upside down in there, and it tweaks my OCD. I'm like, dude, I can't leave it like that. This coin is actually kind of ugly. Not even as pretty as some of these are, and well, they're not pretty. This one looks like a science experiment. I do apologize. You guys are getting some pretty ugly coins here, but we're still looking. Sureg. Up next. We're going to try another 70S roll before too long. I can feel it coming. I got so excited about this roll, and that excitement was deflated faster than a 22 shot into a kid's balloon. I just want the excitement back. That sounds like somebody who's got a gambling issue. But me, my gambling issue is straight into pennies. And yes, I call them pennies. People who insist on calling them cents, I believe, are anal retentive. Yes, I said that. I call them pennies when we're talking about them. When I write about them, they are Lincoln cents. Makes it kind of simple. Colloquially, we can call things whatever the common person calls them. However, in a non-colloquial sense, when we're writing professionally, or we're writing an email, or writing to be heard, or something, whatever that might be, we need to write in professional terms so that some chance of an education can happen. Some chance. There's one for Carl. A place that you don't educate. Very nice machine W. You can put this thing up on eBay and probably sell it for $5 or $10. But no, not me. I could find you a roll of 69S machine doubling. Find you a whole roll of them. I'd maybe have to bust open probably 4 or 5 rolls to come up with a full roll of them. And to me, they're worth 20 cents a coin. Nothing more. Of course, unless they're in really, really nice shape, then they could be worth a couple of dollars. Well, Lincoln cents are actually what they officially are. Now, we call them pennies because, well, we have a history that dates back to the English, and the English coppers are called pennies. But a penny is, technically, a penny is a 1/12 of a shilling. And we don't use shillings, we use dollars, and cents, as cento or 100, are 1/100th of a dollar. And that's actually what we use. But for many, many years, we have used wrappers for our small copper coins that are called penny wrappers. And they say pennies on them. And so the officials have given up and used colloquial terms for 75 or 100 years on wrappers, bags. You'll notice the mint bags, they always say cents on the outside. They don't mention the word pennies at all because, well, they call them by their official name only. But they are officially Lincoln cents. And if you're writing about them professionally, you should call them Lincoln cents. If you're talking to your grandma about them, you may call them pennies and no one's going to persecute you. Those who do, I see this has got a really bad, this mark right here is caused by the crimping machine that crimped the end of the roll. This was facing the outside edge of the roll. A lot of people call this the circle of death. Circle of death meaning that it has ruined the coin beyond value. It has a 1 cent numismatic value as well as a 1 cent face value. And it's because of this quote-unquote circle of death. What the thing that spins up the end of the roll so that it looks like this, it turns around. It's got a wheel that turns. I might even do a film of it one time. I have one of those. And you push the roll up against the wheel, and the wheel curls in the paper, and it creates this nice folded in seal of the roll. And that is also what, if you push the roll too hard or you've got it scheduled too tightly, it'll do this to the coin on the end of the roll. And we call it counting wheel damage, crimping wheel damage, or circle of death. You'll hear a lot of different terms. But it basically just scrapes up and tears up the surface of the coin. In this case, a Lincoln cent or a penny. Doesn't matter which one you use. I appreciate it. That's the end of the roll for the day, end of the broadcast. We'll be coming back at 10 o'clock in the morning. I've got 3 rolls I'll be taking care of tomorrow. And you can go out to the channel lobby and see what rolls those are. But I believe we have another 59D roll coming up. We have an 87D roll coming up. And I simply can't remember what the other one is right now. I don't know. I've got 3 and 4. I think the other one might be... There's a 56D original wrapped roll. I know the 50D and the 55S and the 54S are all for the following part of the week. This is a 61D original roll that's coming up as well. So all of these will be broadcast over the next 4 or 5 days. We've got the auction coming up tomorrow. I hope to see you there. I want you guys to all have a great night. Think and dream about pennies or cents, whichever you prefer to call them. And I will see you next time. Have a great night.